Introducing Oakley Meta Vanguard, the new performance AI glasses designed for athletes. With hands-free capture on an action-ready ultra-wide camera, powerful open-ear speakers, and built-in Meta AI that syncs with your Garmin devices for real-time insights while you train. Take your performance to the next level with Oakley Meta Vanguard. Athletic intelligence is here. Learn more on meta.com.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
Before we dive in, let me set the stage. This episode is about the difference between copying ideas and creating your own version of great coaching. I'll share 3 moments from my career where philosophy shaped the path forward. Moments where the right answer wasn't in a clinic room or a tweet or a diagram, but in understanding who we were. If you want to see the film behind these stories, the video version of this episode is up now on coachandcoordinator.com. You'll find the link in the description. Before I read this excerpt from The Creative Act, I want to give you a quick sense of who Rick Rubin is. Rick Rubin is one of the most influential creative producers of the last 40 years. He's worked with artists across every genre: Johnny Cash, the Beastie Boys, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Adele, Metallica, and he's known for something rare, not for studio tricks or technical wizardry, but for his ability to help artists strip away noise, find clarity, and create what is true to them. He's not a football coach, but everything he teaches applies directly to how we coach and how we design systems and teach our players. His book, The Creative Act, landed in my hands because my son gave it to me. He had started applying Rubin's ideas to his own craft as a baseball player, the way in which he processed information or thought about his swing or understood his identity as an athlete. And he told me, "Dad, you need to read this. This is how you always coached us." And I didn't pick it up right away. But when I finally did, something hit me immediately. Rubin was giving language to truths I'd lived through decades of coaching, but learned the hard way through trial and error. The excerpt I'm about to read sets the frame for everything else in this episode, so here it is. Artists have created in every way possible, at the extremes of chaos and order, and at the meeting points of different methods at once. There is no right time, right strategy, or right equipment. It may be helpful to receive advice from more experienced artists, but as information, not as prescription. It can open you to another point of view and broaden your idea of what's possible. Established artists generally draw from their personal experience and recommend the solutions that work for them. These tend to be specific to their journey, not yours. It's worth remembering that their way is not the way. Your path is unique for only you to follow. There's no single route to great art. This doesn't mean ignore wisdom of others. Receive wisdom skillfully. Try it on for size and see how it fits. Incorporate what's useful and let go of the rest. And no matter how credible the source, test and tune it into yourself to discover what works for you. The only practice that matters is the one you consistently do, not the practice of any other artist. There's no wrong way to make art. When I read that for the first time, I realized this. This is exactly what coaching is. So whether you're a head coach, coordinator, or position coach, you're constantly exposed to countless variations of every play, technique, drill, and without clarity, without philosophy, all of that becomes overwhelming. Rubin is basically saying, learn from others, let others broaden your thinking, build the version that aligns with who you are, and tailor it to what your players need. You have to trust your own process. That's coaching. So let me show you how these ideas played out in my own career. And let's take the first idea from Rubin. Receive wisdom skillfully. This is something that definitely is a skill because we're heading into clinic season. We're going to get a ton of ideas everywhere, and we have to have something to help us. So early in my career, I learned that if you choose one thing to study, let's say it's the stretch play, I was going to find so many different ways to teach it, and all of them are thoughtful. They're all detailed. They all work for somebody. But that's the problem. They work for somebody, not necessarily us. Rubin says, receive wisdom skillfully. Try it on for size and see how it fits. For us, the deciding factor was our philosophy. We wanted to be a physical, get-off-the-ball offensive line. Once I centered on that, it became obvious which techniques matched our identity and which didn't. Rubin would say, incorporate what's useful, let go of the rest. I had a 4-inch binder of all these ideas on the stretch play. We had to narrow it down, and that's exactly what we did. Okay, so let's take a look at a play right here. So this is our stretch play. And again, so many variations. There was a lot of ones just teaching a loose ground. You see us more running off the ball here. We want that physical style. And you just look at everybody in their blocking. I mean, this is physical blocking. Even when a guy's losing his stretch block, I mean, it's still physical here. You see on the edge, receiver doing his job, very physical play. Here's another one to the right. Look at everybody. This one's in slow motion. Getting off the ball. Is the footwork always great? Like, we wanted to err on being physical. Some good initial footwork. You see guys maybe losing them late, but there's a push off the ball. There's a distortion of the defense here. We're especially strong on the edge and how we're helping that tailback get to the edge on the stretch play. Again, the idea is this is a physical play for us. Here's another example here. More out of a one back. We have, we have an offset fullback in this one and a tight end. You see the ball getting to the edge quickly, physical, guys getting off the ball, running, being athletic. Lose a guy right there, kind of causes a traffic jam, doesn't necessarily hurt the play, but physical play. Physical play by the running back, right? That was the identity we wanted to build this play around. We didn't want a soft play because it was, an outside zone stretch play. We wanted a physical play where we were getting after people. Another example here on the edge, we see the tight end really needs to stretch to get this guy. Really simple rules for our guys and how they were going to overtake gaps. That guy wants to run, we just knock him out. We'll cut it up inside of him. Fullback does a great job then getting on the next guy, and we get up into the line of scrimmage with the running back and gain yards. A lot of physical play happening on the edge. And, I have a whole book where I go through the details of every single play, but the purpose here is to show you what we built behind our philosophy of the play. So looking at a tight end and a wing, extra player there, that's a receiver who moved down to a wing. We're knocking people down. Just good play, good physical play. Another example here, stretching to the right. You see everybody inside. We're taking care of the line of scrimmage first. There was another decision we made philosophically is, we're going to make sure these combos take care of everything inside. And you see we're setting the edge here, not letting them stretch the play. We're setting the edge, and we just got all kinds of room to run. We got guys blocking downfield. It turns into a huge play for us. Idea number 2 from Rubin is their way is not the way. So while we were implementing the zone offense, we had a fullback zone dive play that we learned. And it was another moment where Rubin's words fit perfectly. The team we studied used a quarterback tailback fake that looked like option after the handoff on the fullback zone dive. And it moved defenders. Probably would end up on something on Twitter today and get thousands of likes. But there was one problem for us. We certainly weren't going to run the option. So it didn't quite fit. And Rubin writes that established artists recommend solutions that work for them, specific to their journey, not yours. That faked belonged to their identity, their system, and their personnel. So instead of copying it, we built our own version of it that fit us, one that stressed defenders in our offense, one that aligned with how we actually played, and it produced explosive plays because it was ours. So let's take a look at that fullback zone dive. Okay, here's an example of our fullback zone dive play. And you see the stretch fake being carried out by the tailback and the fullback, and it really affects the defense. Again, we weren't going to run options, so why have that fake, that mesh within this, even though this was a play designed for that? But something we created here for our own. Watch the front side linebacker, how it affects him. I mean, he takes himself completely out of the play. We have a good stretch on the interior here. We get that other linebacker sealed up and get to exactly what we want with the play. So we'll slow it down right here. Again, watch the front side linebacker. He's going to fill inside. We have this huge lane here. Great carry out on the fake. You see the guy falling down there as a safety. Couldn't see in the picture, but he really stretched himself out of the play as well. And the result is we end up in the end zone, an explosive play off of a simple fullback zone dive that's really set up by the way that we thought about and thought about what is this fake, what's this mesh, what can we do with it that's going to affect the defense within the way that we run the play. Here's the third idea from Rubin. There is no single route to great art. So the example I have here is when we explored using the pistol. This is when I was at Baldwin Wallace. We wanted some misdirection in what we did. We wanted a deceptive mesh. We wanted to have strong play action, but the standard pistol mesh, which was just turned and handed off, didn't give us any of that and didn't really have great timing and tempo of the play. It was too clean and readable. And, going to Rubin, he says there's no right time, right strategy, or right equipment. So we experimented with that. I can remember standing out in the hall with our coaches going through how this might work out. And so we played with that footwork. We tested the timing. We let constraints guide our creativity exactly the way Rubin describes artists working at the intersection of chaos and order. And eventually we added the quarterback reverse out, which was almost like the single wing spinner. And suddenly defenders were confused and our play action came alive. There's no single correct route, just the route that fits your system. So let's look at some of those examples. Okay, another example here, a video example of what this looks like with that reverse out on pistol and showing how it affects the play action, one of the big things we wanted out of this. So you'll see as we go inside, look at the end on the left and what he does. I mean, he's chasing the guy up into the line of scrimmage. The quarterback is outside with the ball. Huge effect on their defense. Here's one down on the goal line. I want you to focus on the outside linebacker / nickel kind of guy who lines in the end zone in front of the P. I mean, we'll slow it down here to show you exactly what he does. He's not quite sure what's going on. He's trying to read his keys. He sees run. Then he sees pass, then he comes back inside on the run, and there's our guy wide open for the touchdown there. Another example, we use some shifts and motions here. The guy who's in the wing to the right and then coming across me, he's one of our most dynamic guys. We're always trying to get him the ball. Watch what his defender does here. That alley player completely leaves the zone to chase on the run. And we get a huge play. We'll slow that down so you could see it again. This is the guy on the hash to the left. Our guy's running the wheel route, and he's all the way across the center of the field, leaving our guy wide open. And then this last one I have coming up here. Now, we're playing in the mud at Ohio Northern. This is when their field was grass. It's a muddy day. We're slipping all around. That wheel play again. Watch the effect on the defense. There's 3 players to the outside here that leave 3 of our guys wide open. Really can't make the wrong decision as a quarterback, unfortunately. He doesn't get good footing. The guy on the sideline doesn't get good footing, and we get a gain, but it's out of bounds. But you see everybody there is affected by this action of the run where they lose the ball because of the reverse out. So again, something that worked for us, something we created for our own. I think one problem we have today is we get everything in snippets, and Rubin warned us about this. He said that confusing someone else's expression with your own, confusing with prescription is a problem. We live in a world of those 12-second viral clips. We have all kinds of clever diagrams being shared, must-run plays that influencers who are teaching plays and getting likes on social media never installed themselves, and concepts posted to get likes, not necessarily to help you out. Do they inspire us? Do they give us ideas? Yes. But I think it cuts to the truth that Rubin's sharing, that their way is not the way. Those clips might inspire you, but they can distract you from the deeper work of being an artist. A snippet is not a system. A diagram isn't a philosophy, and a highlight isn't a plan. Just because it works online doesn't mean that it works for your players. And even your own system must be tested and tuned. Rubin says, test and tune it into yourself to discover what works for you. And in coaching, it means this: even your own system must be tailored every year. Your quarterback changes, your offensive line changes, your skills players change, your leadership changes, your identity evolves. Your philosophy stays, and it's the anchor, but the application might change, and that's being an artist. That's what art is as it applies to football. As we get into this AI era, I really think that AI is the tool that can reinforce this idea of being an artist. And over the last year, I've discovered something new. AI reinforces this message of clarity. It helps me clarify my beliefs, explore variations, check for alignment with what I believe. It can help you identify blind spots and articulate your philosophy more clearly. I don't know that you use it for plays or for your playbook, but I think you use it for reflection, the way an artist uses a sketchbook. Rubin would say that the only practice that matters is the one you consistently do. So AI helps me stay consistent with who I am as a coach, not who the algorithm wants me to be. It doesn't replace the coach, it reveals the coach. And that's something we're excited about here at Coaching Coordinator Network with what we're developing and coming your way soon with Coaching Coordinator AI. It's exactly what I think will help you as a coach. We're building tools with Coaching Coordinator AI to help coaches do this exact work of an artist that Rubin describes. We want to receive information skillfully. We want to filter through our philosophy. We want to apply ideas to our own players and evolve our systems authentically, creating our own versions of great football. We're not copying, pasting, we're not sharing viral clips, and we're not doing it the same way that someone else does. This is real coaching and craftsmanship and coaching as an art. And you'll see it unfold very soon inside the Coach and Coordinator Network. As we go into the offseason, I think it's very useful. You think of yourself as an artist and have an artist path. And the message is simple. You are an artist. The team is the canvas. Your philosophy is the palette. Your players are the medium. And your season is the project. So study deeply and learn widely, borrow principles, translate them, and tailor them to what you do and create your version of that system, of that offense, of how you run your program, of how you run your meeting room. Because as Rick Rubin says, there's no wrong way to make art, and that's coaching.